Hi there, I'm Sue Kropauer, and you could say I'm just a little itty bitty bit passionate about helping midlife, mid-career, 30 to 50 somethings build on a plan to achieve their personal or professional entrepreneurial goals. Welcome to another week of my midlife musings. These short videos are intended to provide some easy to digest gems that can get you out of the blah zone and moving towards achieving your entrepreneurial goals. So, today I'm going to talk about the Freedom Quotient. Never heard of it? Well, grab a pen and paper. You're going to want to take some notes. Here we go. Ready? Many of us were taught to do well in school, get a great job, work hard, and well, you'll eventually make a lot of money. If you're like me, growing up, we were sold these bill of goods that we should follow the traditional career path of working 40 to 50 hours a week to receive a stable paycheck. In short, get into the office early, stay late, and even come in on weekends, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll get a raise or a promotion one day. Hopefully, if we work long enough, we'd save enough money to retire at the age of 65. No, wait. That's 67 now, right? So, who the heck invented that? Since when was there a rule saying we have to trade our time for money? Lies, lies, lies. The reality is it's all one big hoax. Time is our most important commodity, and all the money in the world cannot replace that fact. When you're trading time for money, your income will always be limited. The first reason, there are only 24 hours in a day to devote to the pursuit of money. And most of us need 8 hours to sleep, 2 hours to commute to and from work, 2 to 4 hours total to cook, eat, tend to your hygiene, relax, and spend time with friends and family. That leaves us with about 10 to 12 hours to trade in for income. That's it. But the reality is that that's no matter how much your time is worth to your organization, whether it's 20, 30, or 50 bucks an hour, there will always be a cap imposed here. Time. You can get a raise and make more per hour worked, but that tends to be a very slow and incremental process. And guess what? If you're unable to work for an extended period of time, say for, a health reason or unexpected layoff, you can't earn anything. Even if your hourly wage gets you 6 figures, you're still going to be putting out a ton of effort. You're likely still to be trapped by a location and a schedule, and you're faced with the same fact of no work, no pay. A couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine was awarded her annual raise at her job. However, in spite of the fact she's in a union, her boss announced the entire company was having a temporary wage freeze, so no raises for anyone until the outlook is better. What the heck, you say? On average, she works about 50 to 55 hours a week, so she decided to give herself a raise by reducing her hours worked each week to simply the 40 hours she's obligated to provide. Sounds sensible, right? And if you're paid for 40 hours and you're working 50, 60 week after week after week, it is a sensible choice. But the reality is that this move, although smart on her part, didn't actually increase her overall standard of living, now did it? Based on the value of money and the amount of competing workers, it's very difficult to get paid a wage that actually serves both your short-term and your long-term needs. This is why 78% of full-time workers live paycheck to paycheck, and only 39% of Americans have enough money in the bank to cover a $1,000 emergency. Truth. For the typical 8 to 5 worker, your income or freedom quotient is limited by time. Fact. Time doesn't scale. 1, because it's finite, and 2, because it relies on your output, which is also limited. It's not hard to understand this argument. Trading time for money sucks, because time is the most valuable asset. You can always get more money, but you can never get more time. This week, I read an article by Kevin Geary. He's the owner of Digital Gravy, and it really made me think differently about the corporate employee conundrum. And the imperative of, well, creating individual wealth is a path to personal freedom. So I took my own experience and incorporated it in with Kevin's concept and took a long look at this topic through an entrepreneurial lens. It aligns perfectly with my own thinking. If you want to get off the worker bee treadmill, you must start playing a completely different game. One of the best ways to start to understand how much your time needs to be worth if you want to build real wealth. And I'm not talking about simply taking your current or dream salary and dividing it by an annual 40-hour work week, which is simply your current annual salary divided by 80 hours in a year. Instead, you must think about how much does your time need to be worth to reach your financial goals. So, first question, how much do you need to pay your bills, eat the way you want to, travel a bit, not stress, etc.? Is it 4K, 5K a month, more? For purposes of illustration, let's go with 6K a month. We're going to call this baseline 6K your personal comfort zone. This is your target revenue to cover your monthly financial nut. Here's the deal. Your comfort zone target doesn't account for two important things: money multiplier and Uncle Sam's take, taxes. All your comfort zone does is let you live a comfortable life with no financial stress. It does nothing to build your personal wealth. The money multiplier is how you build your wealth. Your money multiplier is cash that you earn specifically for the purposes of earning more money. Personally, I set a target of being able to put about 40% of my income into my money multipliers and still pay taxes without affecting my comfort zone. You can set whatever you want. Anything is better than nothing. But after a lifetime of being a high-ticket business development sales professional, I like lofty targets, so let's go with 40%. This means that instead of setting $6,000 a month as your target income, like most people mistakenly do, you will have to have a much higher target, around $17,000 to be exact. At $17,000, you would gross about $205,000 a year. So let's assume $51,000 goes to taxes, $82,000 would be earmarked for your money multipliers fund, and $72K or $6K a month would be free and clear for you to live on. As you can see, most people who say I want to make $6K a month set an income target that's 3 times too low. Now, let's talk about what this works out to per hour, because most people calculate that wrong too. There's roughly 260 working days a year in which you remove weekends and holidays and standard PTO, vacation time, throw in an extra 10 days off and create a more rounded number. Let's say we're going to end up with 250 working days a year. Most people say multiply 250 by 8 and you'll have your workable hours. But let's be perfectly frank. That's a bogus number because, well, nobody's actually productive for 8 hours a day. Think water cooler conversations. I'm coming at this from a position of an entrepreneur who doesn't get paid for time when they're not actually working, like employees at big corporations do. As you'll see, if you want to be financially free, you have to start thinking along the same lines. As an entrepreneur, the average number of productive and billable hours in a day is about 2 to 4. If you're a hustler, let's call it 4. So if you want to give yourself more room for error, call it 2. But I'm going to set it at 4 hours of billable productive hours a day. You're looking at 1,000 productive billable hours. To hit your freedom number, you have to bill your hours at 205 hours of a wage. Wait, did I just hear you suck in a huge breath? Does this number have you shaking in your boots based on your current hourly rat race wage? Well, in order to achieve your Freedom Quotient number, you have to change your mindset around earning and spending. So really ask yourself, how much is your time actually worth? Here's the answer to that. Straight up, it simply doesn't matter. Most people don't have a spending problem, they have an income problem. And underneath that, we often discover a mindset problem too. Yikes. I'm going a bit long this week. So, well, I'm going to wrap up this train of thought in next week's session. But if you are still listening to this, then you're probably in a similar space that most of the clients that work with me are too. Let me take a guess. You got a big business idea that you hope can help you achieve your freedom quotient. It could be, I don't know, something you've been stewing over for several years, or a spur-of-the-moment idea you feel you could actually commit to it. Regardless of the stage of your idea, you might be asking, am I willing to quit my job to pursue this? Do I have to sacrifice any money to make this work? Do I have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? Many times these fears can be summed up in one question. How do I know my new business idea will actually work? Well, big dreamer, let's be realistic for a moment. Businesses don't succeed by accident. Yours won't either. If your business will succeed, you have to ask key questions and answer them honestly in order to know. The upcoming business assessment workshop I've been deep in the weeds on developing will help ambitious budding entrepreneurs like you test the viability of success with that one big idea you've been thinking about. You know, the one that makes your tail wag, that you've been daydreaming about for months, and for some folks, even years. I'm planning to open the doors to this workshop in September, but I know that summertime can be fraught with vacations and other distractions. So if you're interested in this and you want to be one of the first in line to learn if your business idea will succeed or fail, I encourage you to click the link below to get your name on the list so that you are at the front of the line. So, see you next week when we wrap up this conversation and this topic thread together.